Hi again, it's Carol and Ellie.
Hi,
And,
everybody.
and as I said last week, we get together just to share some tips. And we shared some last week. Carol, do you want to summarize?
Sure. So what we talked about is when you're going into a meeting and you know you're going to be dealing with someone who has kind of a difficult personality, and ways to prepare yourself before you enter the conference room or go into that space. So the first was deep breathing, which one of the things Ellie and I talked about afterwards is it's really important to the exhale. Deep breath in, nice exhale out, and this helps calm your nervous system. The next thing was setting an intention that your meeting is going to go well, the best possible outcome. And the third tip was protecting your own energy. So if you haven't watched that, feel free to go back to the first video. And now Ellie is going to go into some more tips, and she's actually going to give an example from a story that happened in her life. So take it away.
Thank you. So my main coaching and training focus is diversity and cross-cultural teams and people. I work mainly in international companies, and in this, we're not going to give names or company names, but in this particular situation, it was one of those where even if you're speaking the same language, there is a cultural difference. And so the context of it is that we had gone through a restructure and I got a new boss. And this boss had never met me, and we were in our first meeting. And so I introduced myself and I asked, what's your vision for the team? What do you think is going to happen to our roles? And I remember this lady looking at me and saying, let me see now, how can I put this so simply that you can understand it? And I remember in that moment just thinking, what the heck? What is this person like? Has somebody given her a message that I'm an idiot? Does she think what? Right? So immediately what came through my mind was, my name is foreign, so she must think I don't get it or something. But I just remember that my cheeks flushed and I felt so upset. And at that time, I totally froze because I didn't want to be rude, because I have been taught not to go against authority or make waves. And so I just remember sitting there, but my mind had gone. I was no longer with her. I just felt so disrespected. And so in hindsight, I've seen this happen a lot to other people and smiled, because here's tip number one: we all make assumptions. And so when preparing, as Carol was saying, it's important to prepare and have an intention. One of the things you can check is, what are my assumptions about this person or myself going into this meeting? And try and clear them out and get curious, right? The second one is, if you do get to the point where you've gone, your mind is gone because something's happened that's created this. So first check how you're feeling in your assumption, and then get curious again and sort of on the moment say something to that person that allows you to get back in the conversation and stay connected. Because ultimately our tips are here to help you stay connected to yourself in a positive way, and in relationship or in connection with the other person, no matter what happens on the other side. And so check the assumption. If you feel that there's an assumption there, then ask about it, get curious and say, thank you. It's great that you want me to understand. Right?
Yeah. That's such a big one too, the assumptions. And it's funny, I was just rereading parts of Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The Four Agreements, and one of them is don't make assumptions. And I think we've all been guilty of that.
Right. And going back to Don Miguel Ruiz, that don't take it personally, like my first reaction there, and our first reaction in general is, what is up that's given them the right to do this to me, right?
Exactly. Exactly. I literally just posted something about that last week because the first time I heard that first agreement, that it was shocking. What do you mean what other people do to me has nothing to do with me?
Right. And it's
It
tough.
was hard.
It's tough to get, especially when it
Yeah,
is really personal. Like if somebody calls you stupid, or you know.
exactly.
So in this particular case, it is noticing I have an assumption that she thinks I'm not going to get it unless she makes it simple. She may simply communicate in that way. You know, she may not have had that intention. So staying open to the fact that even, no matter how blatant somebody is, they are experiencing something in their life that you have no idea what's going on. So she probably meant to be very warm and welcoming towards me. And
Right.
thinking, I'm going to say this in the best possible way. And it came across differently. Also, probably because of my experiences.
Right. Right.
The way I took it is my responsibility. The way she said it is her responsibility. So
Exactly.
checking in with the assumptions, getting curious, and saying, saying thank you to people for whatever it is that you can say authentically thank you to, and then getting curious, like, okay, so what is it that you want to create with the team that you think is complex, right?
Exactly.
It's okay. Or say it, even give them permission. Say it like it comes across. And if I have questions, I'll ask you, right?
Absolutely.
Give them permission to be themselves while you give yourself permission to be yourself. That doesn't mean you're letting them walk all over you. And it
Yeah.
doesn't mean pinpointing that they're wrong. You're just saying, okay, so this thing has come up. Obviously, there's something important for that person. Let's find out what it is. And say what's important for you. It's okay. Say it like you want to say it, and I'll get it. Or I'll ask you questions. So
Right.
that's the other tip. And more importantly, really, really, every obstacle and every difficult moment, to see it as a moment where you can grow and you can find a way across and stay connected. And in this particular case, if it were really that difficult, if you were in front of other people, in that case it was just me or them, I could have taken her aside afterwards and also said, hey, let's go for a coffee and get to know each other. Because the underlying thing is she has no clue who I am. She's never met me. So she's making something. And maybe they just need to be cleared. So the assumptions is a really powerful one. Right, Carol?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. On both sides, because a lot of times when somebody says something that we might take the wrong way, most of the time I feel it's that wasn't the intention. They're just not sure how to navigate the situation.
Right, right. And so what I would say is, if you're interested in hearing more about how to clear assumptions with people in a way that is constructive and moves people forward and makes everybody right and nobody wrong, or if you want to know more about how not to take things personally, then either contact Carol or me, and our details will be below. And otherwise, if you want to see more of these, maybe you have some topics that you want us to talk about.
Yes, yes, we'd love ideas because we'd love to do more of these. I think it, it helps everybody. I mean, we're all connected and we all share so many of the same challenges. And it's really one of the reasons Ellie and I wanted to work together. I mean, clearly when we met, it was just instant connection. But even more so, it was just interesting that we were going through a lot of the same things. And so it doesn't matter where in the globe you are, we're all experiencing these types of things.
Yep. So thanks for tuning in and listening to us. If you have questions or if you want to know more, just write to us. And these are our first two sessions, so they may have been a little bit flowy.
Yeah.
More structure to them, or we can have more tips. We'll go deeper in tips. You tell us what you want to see, and we look forward to having fun with you.
Thanks everybody for listening. Bye-bye.
See you.